Good afternoon, good afternoon. This is Spirit Journey. Today is July 5, 2020, and the time is 6:41 p.m. You see on my monitor here a video that I had watched earlier. It was aired yesterday, and strangely enough, so I was watching this broadcast on another channel, and mysteriously it's no longer available. But this one is able to be viewed. So it's really something. I was just watching it, and then I was going to do this video that I'm doing now, and then boom, I wanted to use the video as a backdrop because I will be discussing just some elements about it. Well, I did do a video about it yesterday, just certain points that the minister was addressing. And I wanted, what I want to focus on right now is I was very surprised. He mentioned about the police, like they talked about, George Floyd and how the police rough up people. But what was the shocker part for me was that he mentioned something about Israel. I think Massad. Massad is equivalent to the CIA. That's my dog in the background. Sorry. Come here, baby girl. Yeah, I just fed them. Yeah, they need more exercise. Oh, so anyway, when he mentioned about that the police in the U.S. are trained, at least some of them are trained to do that choke thing, what they killed George Floyd with, by Massad. They get training from Israel. And I think specifically he said in this video, I mean, I've watched so many videos, so after a while they all get mashed in. But, what was that now? Now, you have, oh brother, I forget now. Yeah, but Massad, how could a foreign country, I remember what I was going to say. He was saying that the enemy for Israel are American blacks. That's the shocker. What does American blacks have anything to do with Israel and the Massad? We don't go to that country, and it's understood by some of the American blacks that go there, that they're not liked. And you know what else, which is ironic too? Again, I don't know whether that's true, whether that country, Israel, and Massad, whether that the enemy of that country is American blacks. But you have many American blacks who go to church, Christian churches, and they donate money for Israel to help God's chosen people, right? I've never been, I used to be a Christian and went to many churches, and I've never heard anti-Jewish sentiment in the American black church. Yeah, and you're taught the paradigm, these are God's chosen people, but never anything like that. So it's really food for thought about how things get interconnected with other things. So you have an event that happened, you have the police, and for whatever reason, and you have some people say that he didn't really die, George Floyd, but there was connections with the Masons. I don't know. Well, I don't know whether that's a smokescreen. Someone died, and there was a funeral, and there was a viewing. But to go to that country, the U.S., who the law enforcement, to go to Israel or have Israel come to the U.S. and train American police how to brutalize people. It's just shocking. If this is true, this is really food for thought. This is all. See, I share this stuff because it's part of the awakening process. I was a devout Christian, and just something didn't sit with me. Sorry, my dogs. Yeah. Lily. Let me show you her. She's going to be barking. Yeah, we got you on tape. I gave her a lot of food. They need more exercise. Yeah, we've kind of been like in the quarantine here in New York City. My little girl here, she had surgery. She had a back surgery. You see her little back, see her shaven. Yeah, she didn't get any sleep. We were both awake all night. We didn't get any sleep. But she got a little dozing off a little earlier today in the afternoon. Quiet. Yeah, I feel for her. Yeah, so either way, I'm sorry, folks. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do with, in between. Because I just fed them, and so sometimes they want to play and everything. Yeah, I'm going to snuggle up with them. But see, it's a paradigm shifting in me. Quiet, Lily. Come over here. Come. Yeah, see, it's a paradigm shift about you're taught to believe in a particular doctrine, Christian doctrine. You're taught that the people of the Bible are a chosen people, and that you're not worthy, and you have to help them. And then in World War II, we're taught that these were victims again. And did you know that they got reparations? Germany just completed a couple of years ago reparations. Germany paid Israel money for reparations of what Germany did to them in World War II. Let's quiet. Sorry. Right? That's what we're told. And the U.S. also pays Israel these things, not reparation, but they pay them money to upkeep their country. Wouldn't it be nice if Lily, come over here. There's no more food. I gave you all the food. Wouldn't it be nice if blacks in America got their reparations? Why are you barking? Oh, there she goes. Come over here. Come over here. Come. Shh. Why are you barking? Come over here. Come. Okay, got it. Sorry about that. Yeah, my little girl. They just she needs more exercise. Yeah, it's hard to travel with all of them. I brought them outside today. Yeah, used to the stroller. Yeah, because see, I didn't want to leave my little girl who just had surgery. This is Lilac. Okay, I didn't want to leave her at home because she didn't get any sleep, and I was concerned about her health. So I had to call the hospital for her. But they said that it's just anxiety she's facing with. So I just want her near me, and try to cuddle her and give her her meds. Okay, so I had her on the top. I had her in this carrier, and then I put the carrier on the top part, and then my other two dogs, Lily that's in my arms and Lavender on the bottom, they loved it. So we went strolling today. It was very hot. I felt very weak actually when I was going home. So it might have been like a mile and a half walk, and I needed to get home. Yeah, that was like at 11 o'clock in the morning. Sorry about that. I know that's very distracting. But again, back to this now. See, we're taught certain things about countries and attitudes. See, it's part of our brainwashing. And that, see, if your mindset is being taught that they are worthy, but you're not. I had gone during my Christian days, I did attend a Messianic Jewish congregation. It's Jewish Ashkenazi who uh, believes that in the Jewish Messiah, Jesus Messiah. And he said during one of his services, he was saying that he doesn't feel black people should get reparations, blacks in America. And I was one of the few blacks there. And you do have blacks who are Jews, many of them like, intermarried, an Ashkenazi. And let's say it's a Jewish woman and she has a child with a black man. That child is Jewish. So you had that. They were from Jamaica. So you had that component, but it's understood they're Jewish and they're about Israel. And again, nothing's wrong with that. But I thought it interesting that here he's a Jewish man, and they were talking about Israel and some of the congregations that had gone there. To have, I think one of them might have had their baby there. Something, it was some type of link with the baby. And I'm thinking, what? You're going to have a place like Israel, and it got its reparations from Germany, plus gets extra money from the U.S., and how could you then deny that? Again, isn't it about slavery that the people in the Bible were enslaved? Or isn't that the whole thing about the Bible, the Old Testament? Because you're coming out from bond. They use the word bondage, but bondage and slavery is synonymous, right? So why not in more of a modern time? Why wouldn't you want the same type of reparations for people here? It just blew my mind, and I think that was the last time I went there. So it's like reparations for everybody else, but people of the American, not just people in the United States of America. I think all of the Americas that had slavery, and some of the slaves were brought directly to Europe, they all should get reparations as a means of protecting you, to regroup, to become refreshed of your trauma, so you build your strength, you build up your community, just like what Israel is able to do to its citizens today. So I'm just very confused. And I'm seeing that there's a possible link. Now, if Farrakhan here in this video that's playing in the background, now if it is accurate about Massad being trained, the police in the U.S. being trained by Israel. So what function really is Israel to America for the U.S. to pay Israel / Mossad? Because their government, like the CIA there, is the Mossad. So either way, we're paying a foreign country, and that country has, in essence, control over how it is to train us. How could a country that just came out of from the ashes, was about 70 years ago, the end of World War II, how could something like that happen? And they get strong on their feet. But American blacks doesn't have a country of their own and able to train. How are you able to train? Again, see, this is my paradigm, that these were victims from World War II, and the survivors formed a country. How could you become such a powerhouse? And you got American blacks here that are sending money over to that country. Now, you can send your money anywhere, and you should spend your money how you want to because you earned it. So it's your choice. But it seems, the scale doesn't seem equal. Why is it true when he said that American blacks are the enemy of Israel and the Massad? Is this what's happening with the U.S. now with all these so-called race riots? You have that at Antifa, and I suspect by the way the people look, by the whole physical appearance, that these people might be actually from Israel or Massad or links to that type of organization. And they're alongside black people during these riots, and many of them are doing acts of violence on property, but the blacks will be held responsible for it. I mean, I've shared you the past 2 months video of one real suspicious character who was breaking up the cement on the sidewalk in D.C., and it turned out it was a white dude, an elderly white dude with this white hair. And there was another person that was undercover. He was just like a civilian, but by the way he was built, also very muscular, and the type of clothes, that he's undercover some type of agency. And they would have arrested him, but he showed him an arm bracelet of something. And then they let him go. But it was a boom, 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 real quick. And I caught that on tape. So I see that there are things happening in history, things that on the surface, doesn't seem related. So it's like different people, different countries has its purpose and link to the U.S., and that link could actually be designed against you black people. And it's shocking. It's really, really shocking. How many people go to Israel to see God's chosen land and people, and you send money over to them to help those poor people? But they're teaching the people in their congregation, don't support American blacks by having them get their reparations. Do you think that's fair? Are we that stupid? Lily, quiet. I'm just really dumbfounded. See, this is part of my awakening, about trying to understand what is going on. And you know that this man is really vilified by Jews around the world. Now, he said some really challenging statements, but he could say the same type of thing about, let's say, any other ethnic group, but he's not vilified. But when he says something specifically about the heads of the Jewish, and it's not all Jews, but those who are in positions of power, I guess like governments and things like that he's really alluding to, not the whole race. He is considered the number one enemy. And you just start to wonder why this man could press so many buttons. I mean, I've heard speeches from other people, not just him, other people, but they're not vilified like this man. In fact, one day I've heard of, when I was growing up, I've heard of this, this person that you see here, and I was wondering what was the beef about him. So I went to the library, and I got Lily. There she goes. There she goes. See, she's quiet now. I don't know what she wants up there. I gave her the food. See this bowl? It had food. I gave her and the other little one, my little boy there. See that? He's on his back. I'm really sorry. Yeah. So I'm just trying to understand what's going on. Oh, I forgot what I was just saying now. Oh, well, yeah, I went to the library. And so I'm the type of person, even as a young adult, I wanted to understand why people hate certain people. And history was my worst subject, but I still want to understand why I'm not supposed to like this guy. Shh. So I just got a book about him, and it was written by a Jewish man. And so I got a book from the library. Well, this was a number one mistake that I did. The person that checks out the book was a Jewish woman, a young Jewish woman, not too much older than me at the time. So this could have been my early 20s. And she goes, ew! And she's holding the book with her two fingers like it's something smelling. It was just a book about this man. Sit down. It was just a book about him. It wasn't written by him. It was just a topic about him. And I was offended. Now, there are tons of books on Hitler, and I doubt she would have done that to books on Hitler or all those other people. But this man here is being taught to the Jewish people here in America to despise him. So it's really something that this man, something he presses their buttons. But still, blacks in America, I think overall, support the Jewish plight of what we call anti-Semitism, and Israel, because in churches, black churches send money to Israel and help God's chosen people, right? But they don't want you to have reparations, and they're not assisting you through the reparation process in America. And then you have organizations that Antifa, who on the surface looks like what it looks like, that Antifa is somehow linked to Israel, in my opinion. It's just a feeling that I get based on what the people look like and the strategies. Things just don't happen. So you see links of different organization, countries. And you know what else I was watching? I was watching about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Those are the couple that was involved in getting teenage and preteen girls to do sexual acts and to use them to blackmail officials. Now, Jeffrey Epstein, I was told, is an agent of some type or works with the agencies, what they call intelligence. And the same as Ghislaine Maxwell, whose father worked for the intelligence agencies in Israel. See, again, it's a Jewish connection in all this. And the people that helped set Epstein, like the guy that owns the lingerie company, also a Jewish man, and having all these young girls modeling the lingerie, and then the modeling agencies, you know, it's like a pattern happening, a pattern of people that keep popping up. And what it looks like, that this seems to be a network of Jewish people here linked with what they call intelligence / spies, who have a network, and they do things to collect money using young girls as bait to blackmail officials here and abroad. You have people starting companies to entice young girls to do things, and it's always the same thing: sex, luring people, Israel, Massad, and black people. See that? Sorry. Yeah. It's okay, baby. Yeah, I apologize about that. Yeah, so what's going on? So I share this information as a means of all of us waking up and trying to put the pieces together. So you have a nationality, ethnic group, you have black people, you have young girls, you have prostitution / sex trafficking, human trafficking, Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry, no, Antifa, I meant to say Antifa, but there's a link with Antifa and Black Lives Matter too. And then black people being allegedly disliked by the, what do you call it, the intelligence agencies in Israel, teaching American cops how to subdue certain people / black people. So it's like a vicious cycle that keeps going around and around and around, and somehow you come out on the bottom and everything. So this is just food for thought. And again, there are good people in every group. You have good Jews, you have good Muslims, you have good Christians, and you know, the good people in all these religions and nationalities. But there are people who exploit others, in particular black people, so that we don't become empowered. So this is not about an anti-Semite, anti-Jewish sentiment. I'm anti-criminality. That's what I'm against, anti-criminality. And using someone's religion or race to harm somebody else. That's what I'm against. And so I want to expose the possible patterns that could be happening. My interpretation may not be correct, but I think there's something to it. So again, this is Food for Thought. Thank you again for listening. Bye-bye.